So let's jump into actually creating a song. And so right here I have our previs set up, MA3D, which is going to show us our previs and everything that we program from our movers, our LEDs, our positions, color, everything is in here. And so I actually like to program in previs here at Houston Levy for our services, just so that way we don't have to turn on all the lights, waste lamp life during the week. It actually really helps. And so once we have our positions and colors set up and everything, it's actually pretty simple to use MA3D to program. So I do have our Highland campus pulled up right now, and let's get started, and let's just go ahead and open up a new executor or store a new executor for this song. And we're probably going to break these videos up. I don't want this to be like an hour long. It might come out to that, so I might stop at like 10 or 15 minutes or 20 minutes and just make different videos, so that way it doesn't take so long to upload these. So what we'll do to start off, we're going to go ahead and hit store, and sometimes I like to do it this way. I'll hit store and just select a blank executor. We'll just do 30 right here, and what we'll do now is I'm going to expand this so you can see. Let's change this executor to green. I like changing all of our song executors to green, so that way we can differentiate really well and our songs can stand out when looking at the console. So our assign button, I'm trying to find it. If I can find it, that would be great. Here it is, right here. So if I hit assign once, you'll see that it says assign in the command line right here. If I hit it twice, it will say label, and then I'll hit it 3 times and appearance will come up. So that's what we want to pop up. And as soon as we hit this executor right here, a color box will come up. So let's go to fader, no, swatch book, and we'll go to MA colors and then hit green. That should pop up all the time, this layout right here. So we'll hit green, and then boom, we have green on our execution or executor right here. And I'll hit this top part of the executor, so that way we can label it. Let me expand this, and I'll hit label. We'll name this, we'll just put song 1 for now. Usually I'll put the title of the song, you know, wherever the title of the song is, I'll put it right here, but for right now we'll just say song 1, and then we'll hit please or enter. We're good. Everything on options right here is good to go. You don't have to change anything. We'll get to this in another video about, you know, what these mean. But for the most part, you know, we're pretty simple, and we're not really changing a lot of the options right here. So we'll X out of that, and let's go ahead and, well, we actually do need to change our functions right here. I actually need to save the default function for this. So right now it's go, on, and off. So these buttons correspond with your hard keys on the console. So this is the top number, this is the one directly above the fader, and this is the one directly below the fader. So the way we have it set up is I'll hit off right here, and then I'll do select wherever that is, select, and then I'll do go, which is right here, and then we'll do go back. That's how we like to have it set up, and this can be master for our song. So I'll hit save default, and so now we're good to go. So I'll expand this really quick. So this is what it looks like so far. The executor is up at 100%, but it's not fired yet. So let me select this list, and what I did to do that, I mean, you can hit select, or you can hit right here where it says Q1 and it brings up another box. And I'm going to name this first Q start. That's what I always name each first Q, and then I'll change the fade time to 2 seconds. I don't like all the lights to snap in really quickly at 0%. Sometimes it can be noisy, so I like a little buffer in there so the lights can fade in nicely to their next positions and everything. So I'll X out of that. You see that right there. It says 1 start or Q1 start. Let's make sure I have it selected now. And we'll go into our other window, which is going to be your list, sequence list right above the console. So I'm not going to go through every single light. I'm probably just going to do my floor 330s, and then our LED bars, and then maybe some top movers as well. So let's work with the floor 330s here at first. So let's go into position and color on this screen right here real quick, and I'm going to select floor 330s. I have them selected, And now I'm going to do at, and you'll see right there we have our lights turned on. And what I want to do now is I'll go to group, and let's make them narrow. So you can do narrow, mid, which is 50% focus, and then wide, which is wide. And narrow, I'm going to work with that for right now since it's pretty sharp and you can see it really well in the visualizer. So now we're going to start selecting different presets that we have. So I've already done my focus, and I'm going to go to position right now. They're in flat. Well, they were. Let's do center for now. Or no, let's do crisscross. Let me move this down a little bit so you can see the lights. And it does look a little off in the visualizer, but you know, on stage it isn't going to look like this. Sometimes the positions can look a little off in the visualizer, but just know that everything on stage will look better, you know, in reality and everything. So we have our position set, and let's go ahead and change these. Let's say the background to this song is going to be like a sea green and a cyan. So we can change these to cyan right there. And I'm going to save this look. I like this. So we're going to store all of our presets into our first cue except for dimmer. So right here, I'll expand this. You see how everything is highlighted in red? So that means you have presets for dimmer, for position, for color, and for focus. But I want to deselect the dimmer because I don't want to put 100% dimmer into that first cue. I want to fade them in nicely to another cue down the line. I just noticed that my execution time is on. I'm going to turn that off. All right, so we'll deselect this. You could put at 0, but I just don't want any kind of dimming information at all right now. So deselect it where now the red box is gone. And then what we'll do is we'll hit store, Q1. You can hit Q1 or you can just hit 1, doesn't matter. And then hit please. Again, you have to make sure you have this executor right here selected. Because if you have your first executor selected and you hit store Q1, it's going to store it into that weekend service flow or that first executor. So make sure you have this selected. Hit please, and we're going to want to merge that information with that first cue. All right. So now if I hold down clear, these lights will go off, but they're going to hold their color, their position, and focus values. So if we go to 4 330s and do at, well, first we got to fire the cue list. There you go. So now it's fired, and then we have our color, position, and focus in right there. So let's keep working on these lights. We'll come back and add some LEDs in a little bit. But usually for a first song, it's pretty up-tempo, and sometimes we want to come in with some effects right away since the band is probably going to come in big. So let's go ahead and hit clear again. We have our executor fired right now, so the lights didn't move, but there's no dimmer information right now. So I'm going to select floor 330s, and I'm going to go into song FX right here, and let's scroll down until we have some room here. And again, this we probably won't keep this format. I'm discovering some new ways on how to do this. This takes up a lot of memory on the GrandMA, and we'll probably use templates most likely in the future. But for now, you know, I'm going to show you the way I'm doing it. So let's store. Notice this right here. So I want to keep this right here, like to where I can see these empty blocks right here. But if I hit song again, or song FX, it's going to go back to whatever you had stored last. So let's go down again and go to where we have some room to put a new song. And what we'll do is hit store. I have store right there in the command line, and then hit over song FX and hit please. So now once you recall this, you'll see that you have these empty blocks right here, and you can always you know, reference back to it. So I still have my floor 330s selected or in the programmer. Let's go ahead and hit store again and just select this empty box 1185. And right now it's just a template. So if we right click it, we'll open up the actual effect, and we can load a predefined effect, or we can do add. So add right here, I mean, you can literally go in whatever the light has, you know, position, dimmer, whatever, you can create your own effects. So right now we'll just do dim. So we have 4 lights. So the quantity right here, QTY, means quantity. So you have 4 lights right here. This is now a selective effect, which means that it's only going to work with these 4 lights that you have in your programmer. So let's change the tempo. Let's say the tempo is 120 to the song. It's going to be very quick right now. So let's just go ahead and test this. I'll show you how quick this is going to be. So you double click it, and then we'll go back to the visualizer. So it's very quick. That's going to be super distracting. It's not going to look good. We want to slow this effect down, but we want to do it in tempo. So what I like to do for a fast song is, dial in the actual tempo, but then half it. 60 is probably still going to be too quick. We'll go down to 30. How about that? And so now we'll go back to our effects. And that's a lot more doable right there. That looks better. So right now it's just doing a left to right chase, just a little sine wave chase. If I go back in to the actual effect, we can change the form if we want to. We can do a PMW, which is a chase, it's like one after the other, kind of like a hard on and off. You can do chase, which sometimes is too much, but for that speed it's not bad. But we kind of want to make it subtle. So let's go back to sine. And what we can do is we can do some more cool things like with groups or with blocks or wings. So groups is going to do every other light. So if I do groups of 2, you'll now see that it's kind of doing a cool pattern right there of groups of 2. If I change this back to 0, it's going to go back to left to right. If I do blocks of 2, it's going to do just blocks of 2. So 2 to the left, 2 to the right. That can be a cool effect too. Or if I do wings of 2, it's going to come in from the right and left to the middle. So every effect is cool. It's all up to you. It's as a programmer, you're the one who makes the looks to these songs, and you really need to feel the energy of the song and what's necessary. Is a sine wave necessary? Is a PMW chase necessary? You have to decide that, and you can follow a lot of different lighting directors on Instagram or whatever, on Facebook, and kind of see how they're doing things. And that's kind of how I learn, is by other lighting directors and seeing what they're doing, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. So we're going to keep it simple for right now. I'm going to do the, let's see, I'm going to take everything out. Let's do groups of 2 just to have some fun. And we're going to keep it at 30 BPMs. So now I want to store this effect into Q2, but I want it to fade in nicely. I don't want it just to come on right away. I want to do an individual fade time for this effect. So I have my 330s selected, my 4 330s. What I want to do now is go into dimmer and then go into effect layer right here, 1 of 3. You're going to want to go to 2 of 3. So click on it again. You can go through 2 of 3, and we'll do fade right here. So right now it's on a 0-second fade. Let's fade it in over 2 seconds right here. Hit please. Now you have your programmer highlighted to, and we're ready to store this into our second cue. All right. So let's minimize this. Let's do store Q2. You see it highlighted right there in the command line, and we'll hit please. And now we have our second cue ready to go. Let's go ahead and pull this up, and we'll name this cue to intro. Boom. And so you see right here that this box is highlighted in green. That means you have individual fade times recorded into that cue. If you didn't, let me hit go real quick, and I'll show you kind of what it looks like if you don't have individual fade times. If I can find my go button, that would be awesome. Let's see. I need to pull up a different screen. Oh no, I don't. I just need to hit go right here. So if you hit go, you'll notice that this start cue right here does not have a green box highlighted. That means you have no individual fade times recorded in that cue. So most of the songs I do, you'll see that pretty much, at least after the start cue, every cue probably has individual fade times. Just to use dynamics and everything, I like to have different lights come in at different times, different fade times, different delays, all that kind of stuff. Let's not exit that. All right, so let's go back to the first cue. So now you're going to notice that our floor 330s are going to now take 2 seconds to come in, and the effect is going to fade in nicely. So that's a cool intro look, for a song. So our lights are in a crisscross position, and they're doing a chase, a sine wave chase, and groups of 2. So we're going to move on to the next video and talk about some more cues.